Okay, Gear. It's June. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. It is June, and that is time for us to welcome everyone and let them know that we are bringing out some new features, which has been a labor of love on our team just to start. I mean, it has been an incredible amount of work that we've been going through, and really excited to kind of kick off this What's New in June webinar with you. Welcome everyone to our Onform What's New webinar. My name is Nate Haregrove, the Director of Business Development here at Onform. With me is Gear Fisher, one of our co-founders. And we're excited to speak with you all today, kind of show you some of the new features within the app, some new ways to log into the app, some new drawing tools. We got all kinds of fun, new stuff to talk about. Just to kind of get started here, we are going to be recording this as we always do. We'll be recording the webinar and saving it and uploading it, and we'll email it out to those who are going to be here with us today and those who couldn't be. Also, in the bottom corner of your Zoom window is the Q&A section. And that's where we ask you to ask us questions. I'll be monitoring those. We have Sarah who's on with us. She'll also be monitoring those. We're going to do our best to either answer them live or get back to you in your questions very quickly. With having said all of that, Gear, we've got a lot of new features on the screen that we're going to talk about. I know that there's some new 3D stuff, skeleton. You can see they're talking about some of our new login, and a little tiny sneak peek at the bottom for our baseball and softball friends that are on the webinar with us today. So excited to talk about those things. Without further ado, as they say, the most exciting one that I'm really pumped about, Gear, is I think I moved it to the top because I love the fact, and I've yet to see it anywhere else. I love the fact that we can now draw in 3D. I am over the moon excited about this. When I demo it, I've yet to see this where anyone else can actually take a 2D video, turn it into a 3D video, and draw on it. So if it's cool with you, let's kick off right there and talking about just some of the new features and my favorite one, the 3D drawing.
Thanks, Nate. Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm excited to show you some of the things that our team has been working on. The first one being 3D drawing. And I want everybody to know this is something that we felt would be natural to do because now that we have 3D visualization, being able to draw and pinpoint feedback in the drawing was important. So we came up with a way to actually allow you to draw in 3D. I'm going to demonstrate that here shortly, assuming the Zoom gods are happy today, and let me share my iPad screen with you all. And what this does is give you the ability to actually draw on the 3D view. So I've created a workspace here called What's New in June. And yeah, we're going to talk about different sports today, from cycling to golf to softball. You're going to see some neat things today. So hopefully a little bit of something for everyone on the call right now. And let's dive in. So first thing I'm going to do is open up this video. We have Caitlin McNabb. We were recently at the Arnold Palmer Cup in Congaree about 2 weeks ago, and we recorded about 30 swings of different players, which we will soon also be releasing in our reference content section. You'll notice that the reference content section, we added 30 different PGA pros a few weeks ago, and we'll be releasing these new videos of really the best college golfers in the world for your use as well. So anyway, here's a preview. And I want to just give you a quick review here. So I've got Caitlin here, and draw your attention down to the bottom, this layout button. So remember, we have the ability to adjust the layout view. So I can go single panel view, which gives me one big screen where I can adjust or change the angle that I've recorded. These are multicam recordings that we did. So down the line, face on, or the 3D view, as you can see here. But I can go to the layout button, and let's change it to 2-panel view. So now I can see two different items. I can see 3D over on the left. Maybe I want to see the face on next to the down the line, but let's get straight to it. So as you know, we now have 3D visualization, and very soon we will have 3D data. I think if all goes well, our development team is so excited about this. We've been working on it for years, but you'll be seeing the data that comes from the 3D generation that we do very soon. But here we have the 3D view of the golfer, okay? And so you can play this as needed. And of course, in the top right corner here are our drawing tools. And I've always been able to draw on the 2D view, something you've been doing for a long time. But now I can actually highlight, let's, for example, take that all the way to the top of her swing, and I can draw a circle up here, or a dot, or I can draw an arrow, and I can point out things like her shoulder position, or maybe the flex of her knee here. And when I close the toolbar, so I'm going to click back on the toolbar icon itself, this now gives me back control of the view angle. So I'm going to rotate this here. And so you can see those lines actually stay in 3D. So now I can rotate around and see. And what's cool here is what we do is we basically take the XY plane of the point closest to the camera and allow you to draw lines in that particular plane. So if I draw this blue line, I'm going to close this and rotate it over some more. You'll see they're at slightly different angles because it's at a slightly different position in the swing. So now these are all possible to draw in 3D, and of course you can do similar drawings in 2D. And I can also switch back and forth, so I can go to this view, maybe I want to point out something over here as well, and then I can come back and those lines are still in the view itself. Now I can clear these off as always and start over. So let's draw another line here pointing to a hip. And something that everybody will be very excited about if you haven't already discovered in our last release, let's say I want to select this line now, I can actually individually delete a line. So if I happen to have, let's say, 2 or 3 different drawings or annotations, it used to be that you had to undo to get back to one that maybe you messed up, but now I can simply tap it. I've always been able to adjust it, but now I can select it and actually delete it by clicking up here on the little icon. So the 3D drawings give you the ability to bring those lines into 3D space and maintain them while you're rotating the drawing around. And we now have the ability to select and delete very easily. One last little shortcut I wanted to show you is on an iPad down here, we in the golf mode here, we can automatically set it to down the line, face on, and overhead as well. These little shortcuts are very nice for jumping around in the 3D view. So here we have overhead, and again, we can do whatever drawings we feel necessary or want to point out in that view. Nate, did I miss anything there that gives a little review?
No, you didn't miss anything. It's exciting to see it because as you move the 3D, you can continue to draw. So if you're trying to keep the hands in maybe a particular position, draw the circle, rotate 3D, draw the circle. It's amazing. To that point, Gear, we did have a couple of coaches just chime in saying, when is 3D coming for fill in their sport? Earlier, we ran some reports, and we've got a nice wide array of sports represented in this webinar. And I know that our answer is very quickly, we want to make sure that our 3D is accurate for golf to start, because it's our fastest growing sport, but we want it to be across all sports eventually, right? Maybe just touch on that real quick of just where we're going with it for 3D.
You bet. So we've been custom training the golf model for a year now. Now, the good news is the first time we do it takes a lot longer than the second time we do it. And so we've actually already started training our next model for baseball. And in the near future, I can't give you an exact date, but just know that we, like you, want to iterate very quickly and move towards building models for many other sports: baseball, softball, pitching, tennis, you name it, bowling. We'd like to and intend to bring full 3D views to multiple sports, but we have to do custom training to each sport so that we know it's accurate. We test it against verified lab grade markered motion capture systems, and we'll have a lot more about that coming soon. As soon as we get our first set of data visibility out there in the world, this will progress much faster for all other sports. So help us out. I know it's we appreciate your patience, but we got to make sure we get it dialed in here. Golf is the first one, and then you'll see it roll out for many other sports after that.
Gear, I knew it would happen when we opened the 3D Pandora box. A lot of questions have been pouring in. A very good one, and I know you just touched on it about the accuracy of our 3D.
Yeah.
Maybe just give a little insights to what we're doing as a company, not just rolling it out saying trust us. I know we've talked about that in the past.
Yeah, so just to touch on that, and we're going to release a ton more information in the very next few weeks that is going to give you a lot more insight to the statistical analysis that we've done. So as a quick little preview, we have our very own OptiTrack markered motion capture lab that we have been using to ground truth all of our data and our AI model in measuring hip rotation, chest rotation, sway, slide, the key various metrics that everybody wants to have access to. And because we have our own lab to do that with, we are not guessing in terms of this modeling technique. We're not relying on any external model that we've just put to use. We've built our own and pioneered it with our own AI and machine learning computer vision team. So we're actually going to publish all of the stats and accuracy information compared to our markered motion capture system from OptiTrack, which is what we have. It's industry leading, ultra accurate. And to be clear, we're not coming out to the world saying, hey, we're going to replace markered motion capture systems. What we're doing is bringing a far more accessible means of calculating 3D data to everybody out there in the world of sports. And that'll be useful in single camera mode as well as dual camera mode. So we can actually even get more accurate information if you use multiple cameras. So for example, down the line and face on using our multicam, because we have both a down the line and face on model. Suffice to say, we're going to have a ton more information about this. We're going to be very transparent about our accuracy stats, not just for the overall swing, but even at different points in the swing. We'll come out with recommendations on recording, but our goal has been to bring ease of use and speed and accuracy, all three, and we are very, very close to releasing that for your use.
Very close. We don't want to get too far off on 3D, but it is so much fun to talk about, and I have been firing off answers to the questions that have been pouring in. One is actually a really good one about utilizing 3D not just for golf, but maybe in smaller swings or slower swings. If you don't mind, would you touch on just the auto detect feature as it stands now for 3D?
Sure.
Thanks.
So we have a custom model for golf swings. In other words, our computer vision model knows what a golf swing is. It doesn't necessarily know what a swimming stroke is, right? We have to train it to learn as such. So what we've focused on right now is the full golf swing. And in order to do 3D, to be clear, you'll need to use the auto detect mode for capturing a swing. Now, it's also our goal here in the very near future to enable all the other modes of our recording capabilities. And just what I'm talking about is when I go into the recording tool, you see auto detect, launch monitor, auxiliary cam. Right now you'll need to use auto detect, but very soon you'll be able to use one tap and manual as well in order to capture a video and turn it into a 3D swing. So for right now, it's full golf swing only, but it's certainly in our future to enable it for putting, for chipping, and then for all the other sports, as I mentioned earlier.
Perfect. I think we've covered off on enough of the 3D questions between you answering them live and me firing off some here. We do have a couple people that have raised their hands. Just as a quick reminder, tap on that Q&A box in the bottom of your Zoom screen and we'll do our best to get back to you as quick as possible. Gear, let's keep going on in our webinar series that we're talking about. We just wrapped up maybe 3D drawing. Next up on the list was joint tracking. Unless there's anything else you wanted to cover off on here.
No, let's dive into joint tracking. So I did want to just mention, You'll note that when I close the video, you guys have seen this before, but we actually save whatever drawings you've put on the video automatically. And you can see that indicated by this little square with a squiggly in it, indicating there are lines that have been drawn on there. So just as I'm showing you, when I reopen this, all those lines that you've drawn there are saved automatically for you between sessions. But next thing in line was talking about our new invite codes. Now this is all related, but this isn't terribly exciting. We just kind of wanted to draw attention to it. But when you go to add a person in Onform, one of the steps is inviting the student or athlete player. And so now when I do a re-invite, in this case for Adam Fisher, you'll notice the code is 5 digits long. And I just wanted to point this out. We have re-engineered our invite code system. It now uses 5 digits, so it's a little bit more secure and has more variability there. But the code system is fully internal. So I also want people to understand too, when you generate a code, it'll stay there and you can share it to your student using any sharing means you have. In other words, I could text it to them, I could email it to them. In this case, I press on text and you can see that it is, it's not sharing my screen for some reason because Zoom has decided to take a pause. Let me just reshare my screen. And we're back. Okay, so all I did there is I happened to go into one of my students who is pending join. If I long press his name and tap re-invite, it'll recreate the code and you'll see it's 5 digits long. And just as a reminder, you can send that via text or via email. And it's simply getting the person a code which tells us, oh, when this code is used, connect Adam Fisher to Coach Gear or whoever. So whoever sent the code, that is. So that can be sent via text, via email. In fact, you could be standing next to somebody and read this code off, and that person can simply tap this plus button and say enter invite code, and they just type it in. That can also be used on the web or on Android. But we really wanted to also remind everybody the new feature of organizations. You'll notice I'm in an organization here. We have bulk invite codes. Notice when I go to say add new people for one-on-one coaching, there's an option now for a bulk add. And the great beauty of this is when I create this invite, not only could I auto attach a person to an existing collection, meaning I might have a collection called online students, generate a single code, and then use that code in my checkout email, my thank you email when people sign up on the web for my program, and they can add themselves, and I'll see that person automatically get attached to the collection. So when I say create invite, it generates this 5-digit code that when I give that to anybody, in fact, somebody out there right now could try it, you'll automatically get connected into the collection that I assign that to. So 5 digits codes, bulk invites, automatically connects you to collections, an incredibly useful way to run camps and clinics, which we touched on last month. Also a great way to just bring on people without having to type in all their names. So if you happen to have a group of 50 people that you're working with, give everybody that code and they'll type in their own information as they get the Onform app and be automatically connected to you when they use the code. So I just wanted to draw attention to that invite code process and the fact that it's now 5 digits. You will need to have the latest app. So everybody be sure to update your app. And when we say update your app, most people are on auto updates, which usually happens a day or two after we release an update. But simply search for Onform in the App Store, tap into the detailed listing, and you'll see an update button there if you are a version behind. That's the safest way to do an update. All right. Any other questions to hit, Nate?
No, I absolutely love this because you touched on bulk invite. I didn't think we were going there, but I love how sometimes our rabbit trails are happy. What did Bob Ross used to say? Happy accidents. What a happy accident that was. I mean, perfect. Let's jump to, we did a little bit of talking on 3D. I don't think we've completely covered off on the joint tracking.
Oh, yes. Here I am.
Let's touch on that.
So joint tracking, we had a request for this, and we check this out. So a couple of neat things to talk about. I'm actually going to pull up a cyclist here. So this is a video of person cycling. Now, when you tap on the skeleton, this is our 2D skeleton, okay? And it turns on the skeleton. We have a new interface for interacting with the skeleton. In the past, it was a little weird. If I got the side angle view of the skeleton, it was hard to pick left and right, and sometimes the joints were covered up. But so let me show you that interface. I'm going to tap anywhere on the skeleton now, and it brings up this new customized skeleton user interface. So number one, I can simply turn off joints by tapping on these lines of the bones. Okay, so when I tap on all those lines and say done, you'll notice his legs have now disappeared in terms of the skeleton. So simple way, click back on here and turn them all back on. Okay, and then we also, if I tap on a joint, you have a few options. So like show the outer angle, and you'll also notice if I tap it again, I can actually start and stop tracking that joint. So I just want to show what that's going to do. So there's the outer angle. Again, if I tap it, I tap the joint, I can say show the inner angle. Okay, so that gets the left side there now. Now when I actually play the video, I'm actually tracking the knee joint as it moves, as well as showing the angle of the knee in the bend. And so the interface to adjust and interact with the skeleton is simplified. It's easier to figure out left and right, especially when those things are overlapping each other. And you'll notice these two yellow highlighted ones are the ones being tracked. If I want to stop tracking the right side, I simply click on it. And now as I play the video, I'm only showing the left side knee joint. And just as an example, if I dismiss this and I open up, I asked him to do some crazy legs pedaling, and you'll see it remembers those settings. I picked the wrong one. It remembers those settings in between here, and here his knee is obviously flaring way out as he pedals, just as an example of being able to track joints in space now. So it's a really nice way to interact. You can play with this on any sport. All sports manage the 2D skeleton, and we've actually had quite a few changes over the last few months in terms of the model that we use for displaying this for non-golf sports, just to make sure it's as good as it can be for now. We will be eventually releasing even more highly refined skeleton models for each sport as we train each sport in the 3D side. So there will be some more interaction there. But now you can track joints. You can do that on any sport. I can do that, on any time I have the 2D angle turned on. It remembers the previous. I'm going to go here and say stop tracking. I'm going to turn off the joint angles, and I'm just going to track her right side as an example. And so now I can see that knee moving as she swings. So that's joint tracking. Works for any 2D joint. You can pick shoulders, hips, whatever you want to track, and see its motion through space.
That's awesome. That's really good feedback. I mean, I'm saying that because I'm reading our Q&A super fast and love this. Can't wait to use this on some of my students. We have chiropractors on here. We have physical therapists. We have outrigger paddling on here. People are excited to go, man, there's new stuff for me too. It's not just golf in 3D, but you're taking it and you're saying, how can we apply this to other sports, which I love. Let me see what else we got here, Gear. New invite codes we touched on. Line deletion, maybe. I know we talked about that real quick. One thing I didn't see, Gear, maybe you can show is multiple lines. When you start doing 3, 4, 5 lines and you want to delete one.
Sure.
Let's do that real quick.
Let's pull up your swing here.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So it's generating 3D. Usually just takes about a few seconds. So I can actually now select a particular line and delete it without having to do undos. I think I did touch on that briefly. Yeah, so as you have lines, wherever you draw them, I can select whichever one I want and delete it. And I can do that, in 3D or 2D as well, however you need. So makes it easy. I I think other interesting thing on this one is if I go to the down the line model, we do have, just to show everybody, things like, the hand path tracking, which is super cool to show in space as well. Close that, rotate that around. So what else did we need to touch on the deleting? I think that
Line deletion is one thing. I like one thing we've heard a lot of is when you start to do a bunch of lines, how you can just clear one off at a time and not have to delete them all. That's a really huge update. The next thing, it's either we can show the sneak preview, or you can kind of jump into our login with our new UX thing. So I'm going to leave that one up to you. I'm going to answer a few more questions.
Let me show everybody our new login process. I'm going to go ahead and log out here, and something we worked a lot on. This is the new login experience for you, for your students and others. And there's some really nice new capabilities in here. Now, login isn't all that exciting, right? But it sure is a pain in the butt when you can't get into your account. So there are typical, create your account to begin. I have an invite, but what I really want to say is if you already have an account to log in, we now generate a QR code. And just to show you again, I click this, already have an account, go ahead and log in. It goes to this next page. And if you've ever used WhatsApp, we modeled this after WhatsApp, thank you, which is on my iPad, let's say my iPad was given to me by my company. So it's not even my personal iPad. It's really been a pain in the butt in the past because if I signed in with Apple on my own personal device, it means that you can only have one Apple ID per device. Well, if my company were to give me an iPad, I wouldn't be able to log in onto it unless they put my personal Apple ID on the company iPad, which is a real pain for management and capabilities. Well, we finally got around that. And this allows a person to use their own personal device, which I'll just go into Onform here. And so I'm logged into my own personal Onform account. And now I can walk up to any other device, tap in that login button, and it gives me some instructions. It says open the Onform app on a device in which you're already signed in. Tap on your profile icon. So that's this little, put your face on there. And there's a new option in here that says sign into another device. Okay, so I'm going to tap sign into another device. It opens up a camera. And now I'm simply just going to point that camera at my iPad screen. It's going to scan the code and it says scan successful. I tap OK, and without me touching it, I'm holding up my hand so you can see I'm not touching my iPad. It logs in the iPad for you. Now, what's really cool here is this is very much like logging into Netflix when you're at an Airbnb, or you guys have probably all experienced this one way or another with one of the TV service providers, YouTube TV, Netflix, Hulu, whatever. On a device that's not yours, you can now log into your own personal account. Now, other places where this is super powerful is if you own an indoor facility, like a baseball facility or golf facility, you can now provide a company-owned iPad on a tripod, if you will, and allow your players to walk up, scan that code, and they can now do multicam or just use that device inside your facility to record themselves. Right? So let me just say that over again. I could have iPads on tripods or iRanges like we like to use in my facility, and I can simply walk up to the iPad as a player or as a golfer, scan that code, and either put my iPhone back in my pocket. Now I can use the iPad that is at the facility, start taking my swings or do my pitches, have it recording me, and use it as if it was my own device, and then I simply log out when I'm done. Or I can use that now and the multicam capability. So if you own, let's say, a baseball facility and you provide an iPad on a tripod and another tripod sitting there, I can walk up. I only own my one iPhone. I can plug in the iPhone on the tripod, scan the QR code. I have both devices on my account. So now I can do multicam recording of myself in the batting cage or pitching. It's an incredibly nice way to give access to these devices. It also really helps any IT administrator. So if you work at a university or at a hospital, which we have a lot of people doing, you can go to your IT team now. They can securely manage the device themselves, but you can use your own personal account to log into Onform. Won't give you access to any other parts of the iPad, but you can use your own account to log into Onform so that you can get the ability of using that device, multicam, etc. It just gets over a ton of hurdles and gives you some great new capabilities, especially in a facility setting.
That right there, the facility setting, you gave a couple of really good examples. And even just as if you've got just a few coaches, right? Maybe you just run a small academy or a small a pitching organization or something, and you want to just make life easier for your coaches to come in and utilize that company iPad, just to be able to use that as a kiosk mode or QR code is awesome. It's really cool. Let's see, Gear. We got a couple of really cool things. I'm just going to let everybody know some of the questions that are coming through. We are absolutely happy and would love to jump on a one-on-one Zoom demo to kind of go in depth on some of your questions. While we may not be able to cover off on all of them here, you can reach out to us at support@onform.com, and we will find a time to schedule a demo and go through all of that with you. Just wanted to throw that out there, as I know we're still kind of coming to the end here, Gear, but some of the other questions that have come in are real intrinsic in their ask. So I'd love to just throw that out to everybody, and maybe we'll throw that on the screen here at the end. Last, what I have, unless you got something else here, I see you got Baseball Billy, your favorite baseball player ever. I know, it's time. It's time.
All right. As we said in the opening slide, something we're really excited. This is not live yet, but we just couldn't help ourselves because I'm so excited about this. The last month's webinar, we had a half a dozen people ask if we worked with Pocket Radar. Well, guess what? Our team has been working very hard on this. It is so close that we intend to make this live in the next few weeks, but I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek. Let me just show you. It's really powerful. I'll go back to my other workspace that I had set up for today. And Nate, you were doing some testing at home, and this is just a static image of your setup, but basically you've got the iPhone here that's running the Pocket Radar app. It also runs Onform, so you simply go into the Pocket Radar app, connect to the Pocket Radar, then switch to Onform, and Onform we have a new setting. Let me go back to Baseball Billy. When I open the camera, there's now a Pocket Radar recording mode. And what this does is Pocket Radar now acts as an auto detect trigger. So notice there's no record button. You don't even have to push the record button on Onform. So you can set up your iPhone on a tripod. This becomes the camera capture mode. And in fact, similar to the Pocket Radar app itself, when this detects a speed, it goes back in time a set number of seconds and goes forward, waits for a few seconds forward. So it detects a speed, and we'll go back in time and wait forward, and you'll get a perfect, in this case, 6-second clip centered around when it got the speed from the ball flying through the air. And you know what that ends up doing, and if I get crazy, I might actually show that right here. But if we go back to my setup, Nate was testing this the other day with his daughter, and here's what you get. In this case, this is a multicam recording, so you can use all of the powerful multicam and recording capabilities of Onform, but now it's all auto triggered. And you can see here's the down the line and face on or open side and rear view. And it automatically grabs the data from Pocket Radar and displays it right on the video, completely hands-free. And of course, you can do all the drawings and whatever you want to do, comparisons, etc. So we're incredibly excited to show this setup. It's really very straightforward. You simply pair this to your iPhone, put the Pocket Radar app in the background, and then you can either use a single device, straight in Onform using the Pocket Radar capture mode, or you can use multicam, etc., and get multiple angles as I just showed you in that view. This we expect to be available in the next few weeks.
Yes. And I think Krishna's on here, our other co-founder. So I hope we didn't out him and say, hey, we want this done in a few weeks, but it's definitely something he's been working on. We're meeting with the Pocket Radar team, really kind of strategizing and making sure that this thing is going to work for our baseball and softball. I've had a couple of people ask, will Pocket Radar work for, and they put in their sport. Well, I want to say yes.
Yeah.
It's just a radar. It's a radar gun, so to speak. So I would think yes. I don't know if it's going to work for the speed of a golf club as accurately, but I'm not one to say yes or no to that. I think it would be something to check with Pocket Radar on maybe your particular sport, but I don't see why it wouldn't.
It'll certainly work. Yeah, as a radar device, it's looking for movement, and it will ping back a speed of basically anything it finds, just for fun, because I feel like we just have to do this.
And quite honestly, Gear, since you outed me on my golf swing, it's time to out you on your baseball throwing device.
Well, check it out. So here I am on my iPhone. I just switched to my iPhone because that's where I have the Pocket Radar app. I'm just going to say, go in here and hit Manage Connections, and you can see you'll eventually have Onform sitting there. Okay, so I'll go into Onform. It's going to find Pocket Radar. I go back into the Pocket Radar app, and I'm going to turn this on. And we're going to hit Add New Session. And I select my athlete, whatever. I just say Start Session, okay? So now I'm going to set my phone up on my little, I have a little iRange holder here. And you're going to see this is a kind of a goofy demo, but you're going to love it because I am actually going to, and you can see the radar is on the continuous action mode. And sitting at my desk, if that's in focus, there we go. I'm going to throw a golf ball as hard as I can at my screen.
Miles per hour.
So it just triggered the radar, and there it is, all hands free, a 29-mile-an-hour throw. There's the ball flying through the air. So it's just that simple. You turn it on, flip to Onform Pocket Radar mode, and you can see it's automatically replaying it in slow motion for you. So you now have a totally hands-free way to capture pitches and hits, or I can of course use this in the normal push the button mode. But this is an incredibly useful, simple setup.
29 miles per hour.
It does require that you have internet, but it's very fast even with. So, and it saves that video in the library. As you can see, I was testing before, and I have several different little videos there, and I can come back and show the view of that. So, more to come on that. We're going to do a lot more features there, but Pocket Radar coming soon to an Onform app near you. Let's put it that way.
I love that. I love that. I haven't had a ton of questions, but man, the feedback on the speed of what you threw that golf ball, Gear, boy, it's embarrassing how many.
Hey, I threw my elbow or my shoulder out doing that actually.
Oh, I love it. I'm getting a lot of questions, and I don't want to give anything away that we're working on, but a lot of people are asking us about other radar or launch monitors. Most of these are from golf coaches. What about, and I think I've seen every launch monitor listed so far. Are you comfortable touching on that of maybe something of how we're trying to potentially answer some of those questions? Or is that a bigger sneak preview that we want to keep under wraps? I don't care.
I think that's safe to say right now we are working on a way to support multiple launch monitors that will be extremely useful in a variety of settings. So stay tuned. The July update is going to be a big
5
one.
miles per hour.
Oh, I should go there. I just bumped my Pocket Radar so that it did a 95-mile-an-hour capture. But we will have much faster, a lot of updates here in the next month, not only on 3D data, but also on launch monitor information, on launch monitor data. I don't have specific timings, but trust me, we are working on something that I think you're going to be very excited about.
That's been my response too, is we got some really cool stuff that our team is working on, and in a nice little shout out. I mean, we don't give enough love. I mean, we do, but publicly, it's amazing what our development and product team is putting together. And if they could see the feedback that we get to hear all the time, Gear, being with customers and talking to them, it's phenomenal what we're able to do. I absolutely love it. As we start to wrap up, is there anything else you wanted to maybe showcase or anything as we kind of finish up here? I'm trying to answer off any of these other questions.
I would just briefly remind everyone, we've been working with a lot of different groups on setting up organizations. If you have an organization, especially a multi-coach organization, reach out to us and we can convert you to the org setup. But just some of this stuff, I have multiple organizations created, but everybody will also have a personal account. And I just kind of wanted to remind everyone, the personal account is meant for coaching people outside of the organization. In other words, if you are provided an account from an org, you can still use your personal account for coaching, outside the organization. But switching between the orgs and your personal account is accomplished simply by clicking on this guy here. And now I can switch back to Onform Academy and it will reload the entire view. So all of your workspaces, players, videos, chats, etc., everything are now contained in a big lump sum called an organization. And then of course within the org, we have all this amazing new functionality for managing staff, being able to upgrade and downgrade coaches and invite staff. I can also go in and do various things like tapping on a coach and giving, seeing what people they're working with, even if I'm not invited to these. I can also manipulate things like removing this person as a staff member, or a really powerful one is if this person were to leave the organization, I can simply reassign every athlete to another coach as well. So the organization capabilities are still quite new and a lot of people are figuring them out. We're migrating people to organizations every day, but just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention again if they have not seen that. For that, I think we're pretty wrapped up for June. I encourage everybody to go try the joint tracking and the new skeleton interface. Can't wait to get Pocket Radar out there live, the drawings in 3D. Share that stuff on social media. We'll always repost it. I almost said retweet it, but that was like 6 months ago. It's just my social media capability. But no, we love to see when customers are how they're using the app. And as you said earlier, if you have any questions, reach out to us, support@onform.com.
That's the screen I believe I'm showing right now, Gear, is our support@onform.com. We are going to be posting this to our YouTube channel, I believe, as well as sending it out to those who are registered. So if you weren't able to get your question answered, please reach out to us, support@onform.com. I think that kind of covers off everything. What a very packed webinar we just pulled off, Gear. I mean, we went down some amazing product updates. Thank you to everyone at Onform. The amount of thank yous and the feedback that we received in our Q&A is just to be commended. So we're on to some good things, and I think it's time for us to end this webinar and get back to work because we got more stuff to go doing. So thank you everyone for joining us, taking time out of their day. Gear, again, I appreciate you carving out some time to join us with this as well.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.